There's the filthy capitalist optionist. Sorry says 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of Alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itstory@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Sorry. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sorry and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them to
Buy our merch.
create a country that supports ethnic cleansing. All right, guys. Welcome. Buy our merch indeed. We have a metal stream for you, brought to you by the big homie Metlcat himself.
Yes, Metlcat. He has a picture of Leela that he has sent to us to add to the stream. That's in your messages. And actually, it's an updated photo of her. When I was downloading this stuff, one of my little kids is like, "Oh, cat!" It was cute. All right, so first.
Where is it? Is it after the lyrics?
No, I sent the pictures first, then the lyrics.
Or before the lyrics? Mm-hmm. So this right here?
Yeah. Okay, so up first is Paradise Lost, Faith Divides Us, and I was having a little bit of trouble to get the lyrics. I did eventually get them, so I'm not sure. I think the name of the song is Faith Divides Us, and the title of the album might be Death Unites Us, or maybe that's the full title, Faith Divides Us, Death Unites Us. But this is the first song from a band you have heard several times before, says DJ Metlcat, including a couple songs that I previously picked. However, I do not believe you've heard anything from this era of the band. They moved away from metal in the late 90s and early 2000s, but started to slowly move back in towards metal with their self-titled album released in 2005. This song, Faith Divides Us, Death Unites Us, is also the name of the 2009 album it comes from. Look, that's interesting. Okay, the mystery's been solved. This album brought back some solid gothic doom to their sound that had been missing for around a decade. Oh wow, was the fan base pretty happy about that, to see the return of the doom? I assume they were, but you never know. All right, you guys, Paradise Lost, Faith Divides Us, Death Unites Us, and I'll take that timestamp when you're ready.
6:05.
What? 3:05?
6:05.
6:05.
All right, guys, let's do it. Paradise Lost, song numero uno. Let's check it out.
Yep.
Refrain from the way we were, slaying the invincible, changed are the ways of man, fortitude to face the past. Don't wanna see it.
That's a good one. I liked it, what it sounded like. Especially the part when he was saying, vanquish the pain, don't want to see it fail. But faith divides us, death unites us, vanquish the pain. I didn't actually understand why they were capping those together like that. Refrain from the way we were, slain the invincible, changed are the ways of man, fortitude to face the path. What did you get from it?
Well, I mean, obviously...
I mean, when he says faith divides us, death unites us, it kind of sounds like a nihilist sort of mindset, but also a faith just ends up, religion divides people up.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's necessarily nihilistic.
To say death unites us?
I think the emphasis is on the division that gets caused by faith, which many times leads to our death, which then, now we're even. As the scripture says, it's a better sick dog than a living lion, or a sick dog is better than a dead lion, or something like that. But
and what does that mean?
Because the lion's dead, so it's like this big, giant, powerful beast, but it's neutralized because it's dead.
You're saying you'd be better off if you were a sick dog than a dead lion?
Well, Ecclesiastes basically says.
Ecclesiastes. Okay, yeah.
So it appears to be saying that faith, because he says, refrain from the way we were, slain the invincible, changed other ways of man, fortitude to face the path. So it looks like he's talking about the moment where the Western world collectively killed God, as Nietzsche said.
Oh.
Because how can you slay something that's invincible? If it's invincible, you wouldn't be able to slay it, obviously,
Change the
right?
ways of man.
So.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, so we figured out that all this religion stuff is really mumbo jumbo. We killed God, and obviously that's going to change the way that we interact with each other.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. That's going to change a lot of things.
Yeah, and then you have people of faith that function in a non-different way than secularists. Like what you're seeing in Gaza right now, where you have American Christians who are either apathetic or are happy that 2 million people can be murdered and then displaced.
Happy? Why happy?
Well, because the Jews are God's chosen people.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And those people are Amalekites. They shouldn't have been in the land anyway. Whatever,
I thought that they were trapped there. I thought it was like an open air prison was what they were saying, and they were being starved there. I didn't know that they were able to leave that whole time.
They were not able to leave the whole time. It's an open air prison in that they can't get to and from the hospital or their jobs. But if you're talking about...
They could move?
If you're talking... It's not moving. It's about being cleansed from the land in total. Like, I don't...
Oh, no. I see what they're doing on that side.
That's not a move.
But, no, I'm saying they could have moved when they were getting... I thought that when they were getting bombed, they were trapped there. And I thought that was the whole... When they said open-air prison.
Now, the entire reason...
And the starving people.
The entire reason that they were doing that was to break the will of those people because they wanted that land. That was the entire... Everything that they did. All the instigations, everything was designed to break the will of those people. And those people said...
I did not know that.
Those people said, we're not going to leave. We're going to stay here. And on the stage of the entire world, they're just going out getting massacred and nobody's doing anything.
So wait. How are they getting them to move? They're killing them to make them move? Still? Like America's doing it now to clear the land?
When you say move, what are you saying?
Well, it sounds like... Okay, from what I understand, that the people were stationed like in Gaza, and then the Israelis had them trapped in there so they could not leave, and then... now America's just saying, actually, we're going to clear everybody out of there and we're going to put a hotel that only the rich can afford, which obviously we know which group of people it would be for.
Right, so that effectively ends them as a people.
Right, but before you're saying that... Wait a minute. Why would it end them as a people?
Because how do you define what a nation is?
Are you defining it by the land?
How do you define it?
I don't really think about the world in nations and all of that anymore. I think of it more in like the black and white nature of spirituality versus physical.
Well, the Bible does, though. The Bible has all those distinctions, right?
Yeah, but I think that those were done away with in Christ. Like, I think that we're all one.
Revelation mentions tribes, tongue, people, and nations. Those are distinctions, right?
Yeah, I would assume that would, when we're talking Revelation, I don't think that they were talking land, because we're all in the same place. I think it's the culture of the people is still there.
It says every tribe,
what they
tongue,
look
people,
like.
and nation.
Yeah, I think it's...
Okay, how do you define what a nation
So wait,
is?
you believe there's going to be nations in heaven?
The Bible says that.
I
Revelation
thought it was
22.
just the distinctions of the people.
Anyway, so, yeah, I mean, but,
Okay.
you know,
So,
it's cool. But
It's not cool.
But the
It's really
point
horrible.
is religion. It's kind of it's a thing where it's like, you know, religion gets blamed for the problem. The religion's dividing us, and it's like, yeah, I mean that's not really happening in this particular conflict. You know, like for me, it's just so obvious. Humanity is just terrible. Trump is not doing what he's doing for any religious reason, and neither is Benjamin Netanyahu. They're doing that because they're greedy, horrible people who are descendants of colonialists who don't see any other way of living. But, like, the idea that faith... I always think to myself, like, if I was going to be an atheist, like, what arguments would I use? What arguments wouldn't I use? I definitely would not use the faith divides us thing as an argument, just because, first of all, everybody, the grounding of their worldview is a faith-based grounding.
yeah.
Because when you're talking, people go, "No, I have science." It's like, okay, if your scientist is assuming that matter came before consciousness, right? That is a philosophy. That is a faith. That is not something you can prove. Mm-hmm. And obviously, there's a lot of data now that suggests that you're completely wrong about that. So, like, everybody's grounding worldview is grounded in faith. A lot of our secularist friends like to believe that they ground their worldview in science and logic and things of that nature. And anybody that says that, I know, like, okay, like, no offense, but they just haven't read enough. Like, you just haven't read enough if you think that the breakdown is that simple.
Yeah, and that the scientists don't have biases to not want to see something.
Yeah. So yeah, it's tough. Tears for a hopeless case outside is still so vague. Frayed the landscapes of old, cleared the indelible, vanquished the pain. Yeah, man, like, cannot sleep through darkened skies, cannot dream until it's over. See, like, that's a world that, and again, I think this song is doing a very good job with it, like a post-God ideology. Mm-hmm. And Nietzsche thought that now that we're so advanced, like, psychologically and technologically, that we're going to do away with all this need for religion, and then that's going to result in a bunch of us dying, because religion is was the main thing that kept us from massacring each other. And so he thought, okay, well, when we do away with that, and then we have the influx of technology, there's going to be a lot of death, but from that death can emerge, you know, the Superman. So it's like, cannot sleep through the darkened skies. I'm assuming the skies are darkened because there's no God there anymore. Can't dream until it's over, which would be Nietzsche's idea, that, like, you can have this dream of the Ubermensch once we go through the cycle of all this destruction. Cannot sleep through the darkened skies, can't dream until it's over.
What did he think was going to hold the Ubermenschen together? Like, what was going to unite them?
He didn't know. He said, "Y'all, you're going to figure out some new way of organizing society that isn't a rule-based threat system with theology." So, hola, Isaac Spiva. Long time no see, buddy. So, you know, that was kind of the idea.
Okay.
So, it's fascinating because the Christian view is kind of the opposite of the chorus, where we say the faith unites us and death is what divides us, because death is the divider, actually.
See, and I got a completely different on that, because I went with Jesus' death on the cross is what unites us. So faith can be a divisive tool. We've seen it within our even just Christianity. There's all these different divisions that they have, like, of denominations and stuff. Like, we all have the same Bible, but we divide ourselves off in different ways. for how we like to do things and how we like to worship, which would be okay, as long as you're not saying like ours is the only way. Like Jesus is the only way, but like people worship different ways, and that's okay. But people don't really. Yeah, so I looked at that and I said, death unites us. Through the death of Christ, we are able to be united, both with God and with each other.
Yeah, I doubt very highly that was the intention of.
Oh no, I don't think that's what he meant. That was just what
I was just thinking about what the artist was taking.
Oh right, yeah,
say
yeah.
That death unites us because that's real, and faith divides us because that's what you made up. And it just so happens that if my made up thing is different from your made up thing, now we're gonna go to war. Blah blah blah. Yeah. So, but that's also interesting because death is a real divider. I mean, you see that in the parable of the rich man and Lazarus. Mm-hmm. There was a division between those two after death that could not be broached. And like a lot of that has to do with your assumptions about what happens after you die, which is it's just a blank screen. Nothing happens after you die. And that once again comes from an assumption that matter preceded consciousness. And so consciousness is a
right, that is true. That would
direct result of the brain, right? And so the minute the brain goes out, your consciousness goes out. So you've got people that believe that matter preceded that. So once you die, yeah, you definitely die. But from our worldview, is that death is actually the great divider on a practical level, like on the earth, like you're no longer able to commune with that person. And then there's another divide that happens based on faith. Like everybody that had faith in themselves will be rewarded by what the self can offer in the next world. Like, because at the end of the day, people say they're atheists or they don't believe in God or whatever. It's like, all right, cool. So you're relying on yourself. So then you could take your packages of, 75 years of information totality and then bring that into an eternal context. And we have it all figured out because you've got iPhones and all that type of shit. It's just young people. We're very, very naive. Sonically, though, I love the song because
me too.
It was a very good, strong start by Metlcat because we've done a Paradise. We've done about 2 or 3 Paradise Lost songs, but we've never had a chorus like that ambitious.
Yeah,
the
really
one that
good.
we were listening to, I think it was called True Belief or something like that, and it was like subdued. It wasn't bad. It was just subdued. This one, like he was completely selling out, which I was not expecting from this guy. But again, we haven't listened to a lot of. Yeah, I think True Belief was.
I liked it.
I don't know if you remember that song, but that True Belief song made it into my
Playlist?
not just my playlist, but it made it to my running list.
Oh wow.
Yeah, actually, I heard that song. We covered that song like years ago, and like that night I went out for a run after that. And it wasn't a hype song either. It was just, he literally talking about true belief. As assumption, which is not a dogma, is enforced on people by a society, it's a hypothesis that we could let go of if we're proven wrong, unlike actual faith-based thinking, which makes you unable to reconsider. Yeah, that Lucifer falls right into it. He fell right into it. He truly believes that he's until we're proven wrong. You've never been proven right, Lucifer, and there's a lot of things that prove you wrong. Like, for example, quantum entanglement. Right? Quantum entanglement does not comport to a physicalist vision of the universe, right? That would be one. So you have been proven wrong. You've been proven wrong by quantum physics for a long time. But the other thing, though, Lucifer, is that if you say that matter preceded consciousness, you need to prove that. Mm-hmm. And the current iteration of scientists are literally no closer to the answering that question as they were when they first asked the question.
That is so wild. That's so wild.
The others were the recent ones that I picked from the more recent album, more death metal added in. Okay, this band seems to be really, really diverse because I'm not going to say it sounded totally different than the True Belief song, but again, the chorus was way more ambitious, whereas True Belief was almost like it was just reserved, and then you kind of had the solid repetition of True Belief, which was kind of like a
Let's just hear that one again.
It was like a mantra to me. That like it had kind of like a mantra effect on
okay.
me. It was kind of loopy, and but it wasn't weird like a Pink Floyd progressive weirdo nonsense. It was more like, I don't know. It was very, very subtle. I really, really liked it. So when I was listening to this, I was like, oh, we're gonna do this again. But the chorus was like, whoo. So I don't know if I would edge this over True Belief but it seems to me that this band is always wrestling with the concept of, faith and God, and which makes sense because Paradise Lost is, that masterpiece, the Milton, the whole I'd rather rule in hell than serve in heaven, that whole thing.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, kudos to this band. I actually want to hear more from this band. I think this is like the second or third song, and like they've always said something really crazy that stuck with me.
What did he say? He'd rather what in hell than serve in heaven?
The devil, he said I'd rather rule in hell than serve in heaven. Right? They started as a death doom, moved into gothic doom, goth rock pop, back to gothic doom. I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like, they seem to be like a mega, diverse band. And of course, like, I think I think Metallica could write a pop song if they wanted to. Some people would say, well, what the hell? That was a Black Album. But it would still sound like Metallica playing a pop song. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys are able to, like, move in and out of these different genres almost effortlessly. That's a very difficult thing to do. But at the same time, I don't know what the other, songs are yet. So hopefully more people request this band, because I won't if there's a band, they got a song, like, I won't listen to any of the shit. So that, like, if we get it, then some bands I've been waiting on for 6 months, damn it. So
longer.
So there's that. All right.
Okay.
I really like the song a lot.
9.8.
Yeah, definitely. It was a 9.8 for me as well. Because of the chorus was crazy. It caught me off guard. So shout out to Metlcat for that. Yeah, definitely. What's the name of the band again?
That was Paradise Lost.
I keep calling them True Belief because that's what I have in my on my playlist when I played it. Good solid opening, Metlcat. Good for you. All right, guys. So we have just started the night. We are coming right back.
Right back with some bad religion.
Lucifer says, because there are limitations to our knowledge, which is better to acknowledge than to be confident that we know it when we actually don't know it and don't have any evidence either. I agree, Lucifer, but I just explained to you, right, that quantum entanglement shows us that your local realist assumption of the world from a physicalist perspective is literally impossible. That's what I'm saying. There's that, and then there's a hard problem of consciousness among a bunch of other things that are very, very problematic for the philosophy that grounds a lot of what you call science. Thank you for the interaction, though. I'll see you on the side of break. Vin out!
Story out.
Gone! But we're coming back right after this commercial. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sorry says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsorry@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft. Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sorry. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sorry and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy merch.
Buy merch indeed. It's how I lead them.
To buy our merch.
You gotta stay listening. What's up, DJ Mike Franco and his bitch? But today belongs to the big homie Metlcat. Metlcat!
Metlcat is up. DJ Metlcat.
We just did Paradise Lost. You guys definitely need to check out that song. Got a 9.8. Came right out the gate.
All right, up next on our list tonight is Bad Religion. The name of the song is You. He says this is another band that you guys have listened to several times, but all of their prior songs have come from the same album, Recipe for Hate. This song takes us back in time to their 4th studio album from 1989, No Control. This is Bad Religion, y'all. The name of the song is You. Let's check it out.
Let's do 31 minutes straight for the timestamp.
Thank you.
All right, guys, here we go. Bad Religion. The name of the song is You. The lyrics are on the screen, so pay attention. Let's go.
There's a place where everyone can be happy. It's the most beautiful place in the whole fucking world. It's made of candy canes and planes and bright red choo-choo trains and the meanest little boys, most innocent little girls. And you know, I wish that I could go there. It's a road that I have not found, and I wish you the best of luck here. Drop a card or letter to my side of town, 'cause there's no time for fussing and fighting, my friend. But baby, I'm amazed at the hate that you could send. And you've been in my entire world, but I don't have the turpentine to clean what you have soiled, and I won't forget it. There's a place where everyone can be right, even though you're made determined to be imposed. Admitted scribes of qualifications. It's where everyone has been and where everybody goes. So please try not to be impatient, for we all hate standing in line. And when the fun is good as fuck, you'll be there without a thought. And eternity, my friend, is a long fucking time, 'cause there's no time for fussing and fighting, my friend. But baby, I'm amazed at the hate that you could send. And you've been in my entire world, but I don't have the turpentine to clean what you have spoiled, and I won't forget it.
That was
Interesting.
at the end. It's kind of like a metallic little thing that they used to do at the end of the song. Okay. Wow. This is in and out like a Navy SEAL, huh? What do you think he's talking about?
Well, it kind of sounded at first like someone who was maybe jaded, or, you know, because there's a place where everyone can be happy. It just sounds like, okay, here's, you know, candy canes. It says candy canes and planes and bright red choo-choo trains.
Yeah.
It's the most beautiful place in the whole effing world. And then he says, and the meanest little boys, the most innocent little girls. That's a nasty combination. And you know, I wish that I could go there. It's a road that I have not found. Okay, then he also talks about her being mean. He says, but baby, I'm amazed at the hate that you could send. So I kind of thought that it was a relationship that had gone south, and that, because he said, and you painted my entire world, but I don't have the turpentine to clean what you have soiled, and I won't forget it. Mm-hmm. So it kind of sounds like, you know, two people's lives are intertwined, and I think that their lives were intertwined in, I'm guessing, a romantic relationship. And then, you know, she did something to ruin his world, and he doesn't have enough.
Where did she?
Well, it's a guy singing, and then he says the pre-chorus, because there's no time for fussing and fighting, my friend. But baby, I'm amazed at the hate that you could send, and you painted my entire world, and you don't have the turpentine and I don't have the turpentine to clean what you have soiled, and I won't forget it. So that part kind of made me think of like that she did something to hurt him, and he was saying, that back, and I'm amazed at the hate that you could send.
That's so crazy. I wasn't looking at it that way. I didn't take the baby to be a boyfriend girlfriend thing.
What about
dudes call each other baby all the time. I mean, I do to this day. And that's it. It's funny because that's Tom Brady's favorite phrase to everybody. Mm-hmm. "What's up, baby?" Apparently. When Big got shot, everybody was calling him baby. Like, "Stay good, baby, you're good." So, which is kind of weird, but okay. But so when he says "my friend," yeah, I just took that to be somebody on the other side of an actual friend. I took it as conversation between two dudes, but they were on different sides of an argument. And that's why he says in verse 2, there's a place where everybody can be right, even though you remain determined to be opposed. So it looks to me like he's talking to, the image I got was that you got these protesters, and one's on one side and one's on the other side, and this is a conversation they're having over the gate. Because he says, there's a place where everybody can be right, even though you remain determined to be opposed. So they're opposed to each other. I see that. So then how could everybody be right if everybody's opposed to each other? Mm-hmm. That's logically impossible, right? Because it means that either I'm right and he's wrong, or he's right and I'm wrong, or we're both wrong. Mm-hmm. But we can't be both right if we have diametrically opposite perspectives on a given thing. But it might be that he's just not thinking that through, or it might be that he's saying we got to find some mechanism wherein we can actually accomplish that, because if we don't, we're all going to die. So that's what it looks like to me. But it's very fascinating that you took out of that. Also, the reason I went there was because I'm like, oh, it's a punk band, and they're a lot more
political and
they're a lot more conscious than the girlfriend boyfriend stuff. Which
I see.
Look, the girlfriend boyfriend stuff is what builds society, so you can't trivialize it. Right. Yeah. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. When he says, but I don't have the turpentine to clean what you have soiled, and I won't forget it. What did you think he meant by that? That the other person's point of view?
Well, yeah, you fucked up the country. There's people writing if we go through this and do this to this people, you watch what's going to happen to this country. I'm telling you, people going to cry. Folks going to cry. I'm telling you. I know in my spirit that if we do this to these people, you're going to have a hard time in the United States of America, because we fucking know better. Look at the date. I've made many a prediction, dear listener, on this channel and the other channels, and I'm not going to lie to you, it's about a 90% hit rate. You watch what happens to our country if we do this to these people. Unfucking believable. Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's on the one hand, in a democracy or just in general, let's say everybody ended up on a desert island, and how are we going to eat? How are we going to shelter in place? How are we going to, and people are disagreeing, but it's one of those things where you can disagree, but you got to find some way where everybody's right. But then at the same time, he's saying, I'm not going to forget all the stains that you brought on me or the country or whatever. And I think it's just a struggle of, and people say things like, you don't want to fall out over politics, or you don't want to, it's well, we're talking about human beings here, though. And so there's where the conflict comes in, and the song is trying to I don't know, almost have its cake and eat it too. Because it's there's a place where everybody can be right, even though you remain determined to be opposed. That seems to me very Pollyannish and not realistic. And logically impossible. Admittance requires a call.
It's impossible.
Right? It's where everyone has been and where everybody goes. Yeah. And then later on he talks about, because right before that, he talks about, you painted my entire world and you soiled it with the, you know what I'm saying? Like the, you know, and so that goes more into it. But yeah, I mean, I definitely could see how a person could take it relationally as well. I mean, like I said, a lot of it was just came from the assumption that they're a punk band, like a real punk band. No disrespect to the other punk bands, but we did a punk week one time, and so we had a lot of the punks come in and explain to us, these guys are a real punk band, and so it's like, I just assumed that they were going to talk about something, you know what I'm saying? I've always taken this one as being layered. I think it's both a relationship, stronger in verse 1, and about Christianity, stronger in verse 2. I could see that too, where like maybe you're trying to set up verse 2 to be some sort of heaven place, or maybe some magical place, kind of like the song before, where it's like, okay, this is magical thinking, you know, to think that, you know, you can be in this place. And it's interesting because it's like, yeah, maybe in heaven we suspend the laws of logic. So there's a place where everybody can be right, even though you're determined to be opposed. See what I'm saying? So I just think that, like, all of us are trying to find the way.
Yeah, but there's also the...
Yep.
Sorry, no.
No,
I'll let
go.
you finish it.
No, go.
Well, when he says there's a place where everyone can be right, you could have that in a heaven state, because it's almost like, you know, everybody has different perspectives and believes different things, and everybody has different experiences, and they make decisions and thought processes off of their experiences. But if we were all sitting underneath the same blue sky and there was no variation of color, we would all say it's blue and we would all be right. And I think that in a heavenly state, there is going to be no opportunity for falsehood, and so everything's going to be right. Everything's going to be true. So I think that, you know.
Yeah, but look at the very next line. Even
Yeah.
though
Yeah, I was just going along with the heaven thought.
you're determined to be opposed. You know what I'm saying? And
that wouldn't make
Yeah,
sense.
go ahead.
Because you wouldn't be determined to be opposed in heaven. Like, I feel like this is the platform where that gets decided, whether or not you're opposed to it or you're with it. That's what this world is about. And once you get to the other one, there's no deciding after that. Like, it's an eternal state, and you're there. It's such a crazy thought to me, too, because when you hear those NDEs, the near-death experiences, and some of them are really interesting and positive, and then there are other ones that are absolutely terrifying. And when those people talk about, like, just being dragged down in the realization that they were completely wrong, that there was no escape, and there's nothing or no one to hide behind, and that they're stuck there forever, and there's no party like they thought, or like, because I think that in this realm, like, we can kind of think that bad is fun, because we're a little bit of rebels or whatever. Like, we have different reasons for why we think, that bad is fun. But it's not. It's almost like I remember when we were kids that adults had a certain level of, like, they wouldn't just, like, lose it in public. Now I feel like our generation being the adults, like, I see people, like, kind of, like, lose it a lot out in public, and I'm like, this is wild. Like, everybody's at the point where they're like, you know what, I'm not going to stand for this anymore. And everybody's going to fight for their Starbucks drink, for their sandwich, for their chips. Like, I'm surprised at some of the ways that people throw drinks in people's faces that work at, like, the McDonald's and stuff. Like, people are out of control. But
it seemed that my mom, that was the thing. Like, my mom was on 10 all the time. She would take it there all the time. So as soon as people started to see her get revved up, they're like, whatever, anything you want. Because back then, it wasn't like now. She would have enjoyed it now. She would have mixed. She just like to mix shit up sometimes. So she would have enjoyed it because they would have given it right back to her. You know, she enjoyed. That's probably where I got all that shit from. Definitely where I got it all from.
I went through a phase where I was, like, a lot of conflict in public, whatever. Like, if something didn't go right, like, I didn't want anybody crossing me at all. But I don't actually mostly enjoy conflict. I don't really mostly enjoy it. Like, you're saying your mother, she loved it start to finish. I'm not like that.
Well, she would have loved this day and age.
Where it was like this?
Because people would fight back. You know.
I see. Yeah.
I'm saying, like, I think it's just like a sport to her to some degree. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, it was
kinda
for
like
me.
that. Yeah, I
definitely was for me, especially like a long time ago. You know, until I had certain experiences. But yeah, like she definitely enjoyed that shit. But Metlcat said something interesting. It looks like having a place where everybody can be right. Different sects of Christianity are opposed. He's asking the Christians not to rush Armageddon.
Oh. That's what he said?
That's the way that he
When he
looks.
says, and when the farm is good and bought, like, remember how people will say,
Yeah,
like,
bought
they
the
bought
farm.
the farm. Yeah.
That means you're dead. Bought the farm means you died.
Be there
right?
without a thought.
Yeah, so it's like we're all gonna die eventually, so there's no need to rush Armageddon. Of course, for certain Christian sects and denomination, which, you know, thankfully, the people who hold to that theology are dying off, and I hope God speeds it up quickly, especially after this situation. But like there's a whole theology around Armageddon and all that stuff, and you know, I don't believe most of it. I mean, you guys know, like, I believe the Bible, believe every word, interpreted according to its literary genre. Some of it's historical. You know, we're mentioning Pontius Pilate, etc. Some of it is apocalyptic. We've got dragons and angels, etc. But yeah, there's a certain. But I do not believe that the Bible teaches that it's always going to be horrible in the Middle East, and then there's going to become an antichrist who makes you take a tattoo on your right hand and forehead. Although the way that the Christian community has embraced Elon Musk is making me question a little bit my theology about the Antichrist and all that other stuff.
Really?
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, the vibe. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, 100%. Because, like, everything that the bad guy was supposed to do, because I used to watch this stuff all the time as a kid in the early 90s, and everything they say the bad guy is going to do, like, and I'd always think to myself, yeah, but how could he possibly, there's millions of us, how could he trick millions of Christians? Like, there's no way. And then in comes Elon Musk, and these Christians are, like, completely surrendering their minds to the guy. And I don't think Elon is a horrible person at all. I don't blame him for anything that he does, because people are going to operate for what their own interests are. I'm just saying the reaction, particularly in the Christian church, to this guy, it's like, the Bible, the New Testament says nothing good about rich people. Nothing. And if you're an American, you are already rich. So for a guy to be that rich and the Christian church in America completely embrace him is just so crazy to me. Because James does have this class consciousness. Like, why are you preferring this rich man over this poor man in shabby clothes? And then they said, isn't it the rich who killed the Lord Jesus?
Yep.
It's like, what? Like, oh, man. Yeah, so I definitely see that. Like, if we all, like, actually came together, because there are Christians that do want to foment Armageddon. I remember when 9/11 happened, and half the class was crying. Me and this other dude were pretty much just stone-faced, and I knew what he was on. But it was so strange because there was a group of Christians on the side praising God, thanking God, because this meant the rapture was going to happen right around the corner. And I'm not mad at them. Like, if you believe that, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Mm-hmm. Me personally, I was distracted. I'm not joking. Like, when people started jumping from the building, that's when I was like, okay, like, a lot of people gonna have to die over this shit. I've just seen Americans jumping from buildings and shit, and you could, like, see, they had this one clip where they focused on the firefighters, and, like, when you'd hear this terrible impact, and then the firefighter would just cringe.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I never saw any of that.
Yeah.
None of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I was propagandized and basically brainwashed.
Oh my gosh.
But the minute I saw that, like, I already made my decision about what's gonna have to happen. So, like, but the Christians, there was a small group of Christians who were celebrating it, like, oh my God, the rapture's around the corner, blah blah blah. Somebody said we're not gonna have to work. You know, all types of crazy shit. They thought the rapture's going to happen in, like, 30 days. And like I said, I'm not mad at them, because it's like, maybe you could say it was a coping mechanism. 9/11 was extremely traumatic. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you could say it was, you know, the way that you deal with it without fear. Because, like, yeah, you could be on a hijacked airplane and kill everybody, but you could also, like, disappear from everything, you know, because the world is so horrible because America was attacked, and you know. So yeah, like that's the irony of this whole thing is like they're kind of like speeding Armageddon. Like, for example, unilateral. That theology has a unilateral support of Israel, which directly correlates to what people are calling terrorism. Like that would just be one example. It's like, okay, we're going to unilaterally support this group of people against this people. Then when these people strike back, we're going to say, oh, there it is, problems in the Middle East. And we're just going to keep fomenting that because we want to see them fight more, because we were told when we were kids, the Middle East is going to blow up, and then...
Yeah, no, I remember feeling happy about the wars.
Happen.
No,
Right.
I remember, yeah. But it just, 9/11, you know, I don't think it really functioned like that for me because it was like home ground. I know that's horrible, but like it was so disconnected. Like if there's bombing that's happening over there and you have no concept or anything experientially to understand what that would be like, you have a certain understanding, like that's sad, but you don't really feel it. But then when all of a sudden like it's coming into New York, and then they're like it could come here, and then all of a sudden when it's self-motivated, you get all of a sudden like it's easier to put the shoe on the other foot and realize what these people are going through.
100%.
So I think a lot of our experiences, and I do think that the internet has a deleterious effect on the way that we can experience empathy, because it's so, you see so much of it, and there's so much of it in so many different ways.
And there's always a narrative on top of it.
Right, and then there's the comment section,
and comments underneath
and
it.
People are ruthless sometimes in the. I never really looked in the comment sections, and I still don't spend a lot of time in it, but you kind of got me to like look into the comment sections a little bit, and some of the times like I don't do it a lot because I really don't think that people should fill themselves with 98% negativity in their life, like what you're seeing, what you're listening to, what you're doing, like. You have to break out of that. Like it's so unhealthy to only see misery when there is goodness around you if you're looking for it. So I'm like, man, I'm just try to get outside and try different things, like, but it's just, that's some of the things that people go through and endure is just crazy. Like I think about it a lot, especially in regards to like planes and stuff, because our kids are little, some of them, and they love to see the planes. And when they're looking out at the planes and they're super excited about it.
And we're right by an airport.
I always think, yeah, it almost comes in my head almost every single time, is just, my kids don't know what it's like to fear that. Like, they're excited. They're like, look at all of that. They don't know, like, the experiences that other people and other people's children have had. And, I mean, I'm glad that my kids haven't, but, like, we got to do something about other people's kids. And I just don't know what. Yeah. Anyway.
Doesn't seem like there's much that can be done at this point. But yeah, like it's so fascinating. Like, especially there's so many ways to apply that whole Armageddon thing. Like, for example, climate change. Like, I'm not trying to be political. I'm just saying, like, this is an example where we can march toward Armageddon, because, like, in your apocalyptic ideology, the environment is wrecked. Like, the environment is wrecked. Now, of course, I don't think that they were talking about thermonuclear warfare in Revelation. I think they were talking about siege warfare. But, like, even things like creation care and taking care of the planet, it's like, no, because Armageddon. Like, why? What did John MacArthur say? Why are you trying to rearrange chairs on the Titanic or whatever? When you talk about caring for the world and, you know, worrying about climate change. Like, I don't worry about climate change. I don't obsess about climate change. I don't even believe that I believe the negative effects of climate change have been exaggerated in order to make a point. But it is real.
Yeah.
Like, it is real. And so it's like, we as Christians are like, oh, yeah, you know, we'll just keep fucking up the earth because of the rapture. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wait a second. Like, God gave us... Okay. Yeah, so I really appreciated the song because it could be a layered song. It could just be like he said, the first verse a girlfriend verse, and the next one was a Christianity, politics, sociology type thing. Where'd you get the song?
9.4.
My friend's brother died. When did your friend's brother die, Mr. Perez? Sorry to hear that, buddy.
Yeah.
When? Glad to see that you're here, though, for as long as you're here. What did you give it? 9.5? You give it a 9.3.
I thought I'd give it a 9.4 actually.
All right, I'll give it a 9. I had 9.5 in my head for this song, just because there were like multiple interpretations of what he was saying that were completely legitimate, and that is very, very hard to pull off as a songwriter. Which sometimes I'm almost like, I don't even think songwriters have that intention because it's so hard to do. I just think that they're writing, and if you're mega talented, you're able to do that. But that's incredible. Like, we had 2 or 3 different major interpretations here, and if you look at the lyrics and even the way the song was done, they all work. So 9.5 for me. Metlcat, you gotta start grading your songs, bruh.
Yeah, there was something about
What's wrong
the
with
song.
you?
I don't know, because, yeah, I know that I figured you guys would be surprised it was about a 9, but it was a little fast, but there was something about it that, I don't know, I just liked. I don't know what it was. Like, something kind of drew me into the song, kind of kept me with it. So, yeah, got a little bit of a higher rating there. All right, you guys, we doing the commercial? Are we skipping that?
Let's do the commercial. Let's do the commercial.
Be right back.
Commercial break is coming. We'll be right back. Metlcat's Night of Metal.
Don't forget Miss Leela in the
not
corner.
over. It's not over. We continue. Commercial.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sorry says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of Alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsorry@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Sorry. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sorry and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed, and y'all shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Sorry is becoming a hardcore punk fan in development.
on my way.
Development.
All right, the Mary Wallopers. Smuggling the Tin. Live field recording for Gems on VHS.
Gems, as in like the show Gems with the Rockstar Girls? That was one of the, if that's what it was, that was one of my first, I think the first cartoon we ever watched when we came to this country.
Oh, really?
Was Gems. I love that show.
Why?
I love that show. Because it was the first show. We'd wake up in the morning and there was Gems. And it was just cool. It was really, really cool.
This is a new group to the channel, says DJ Metlcat. They're an Irish folk group that I found just watching random videos on the Gems on VHS channel. This is not an original song, but a traditional song whose author is unknown. That's interesting. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, so let's check it out.
It's probably him.
It's who, Metlcat?
He said Daniel's son. It's Daniel's son. S-A-N, not son. You weirdo. All right, here we go. The Mary Wallopers walloping. No, the Mary Wallopers smuggling the tin. Let's do it now. 59 seconds for the timestamp. 59 minutes. 59:00.
So some people have the nerve to think that over there is the UK, but it's not.
What is it?
It's Ireland still. They just call it the UK, like. is the castle, Roach Castle.
Wait, is this supposed to be live?
Yeah, it's live field recording for Gems.
Yeah, but I can't see any picture.
Oh.
Just check. Is that it right there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So something.
That's all right. Ask me anything now. What do you guys want to talk about? We have a comment section for a reason. I am currently.
So some people have the nerve to think that.
My daughter took me to get a pedicure today. That was very sweet of her. It was very nice. And, where is my comment section? I'll have to change that timestamp, too.
Dwayne is saying he wrote this song. Did you really now, Dwayne?
Oh, well, that's why it's unknown.
That's probably why it's...
Yeah.
That's probably why it's chippy, too. You know, those indigenous
Yeah,
people are not very good at technology.
Boy.
The Mary Wallopers.
It's getting crazy up in here now.
The Mary Wallopers smuggling the gems.
Yep, I'm gonna add the...
What?
Yeah, you guys asked me anything. Well, I was gonna... Let me just skip that. I was gonna actually fill this out. With the reaction.
Smuggling the tin.
Yeah, smuggling the tin.
Was it this one right here?
That's what it looked like.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Talk to the people.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my comment section. I wanted to update the thing. Sorry's mic is low. Is it? Hold on. How's that? Is that any better? What's up, Ben? You guys, I just
trying to re-download the song, guys. I'll be with you in a second.
Yeah, he'll get that. Section like just resituated itself. So if you have stuff to say,
well, there's also the...
I've got this one. No, I didn't watch the halftime show actually. So I don't have an opinion on it. One of the kids was like showing me some about it, so I saw like a little bit. But to be honest with you, everybody came back and told me like the halftime show was not that great. And then I saw a meme that was like basically all of us middle-aged people running like mad to Facebook to like say how much we hated that halftime show, which I thought was funny because like how different generations view each other.
What do you mean?
Well, it was just a picture of like a 40-year-old man running and he just looked 40, and then it was like
Kendrick?
No, it was just a random 40-year-old man running, and they were saying like basically like our generation of adults is running toward posting stuff to Facebook to say how much they hated the halftime show. It was just like our generation just didn't, I mean not all of our generation, but I guess there was a lot of people that didn't like it.
Yeah, I just don't think that he's a that kind of an artist. Like a pop guy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what kind
of... Although They're Not Like Us was a pretty, it's a pretty accessible song. Mm-hmm. It's just very hard to translate the rest of his stuff. Because he sells records, but the demographic is not the Super Bowl demographic. And there's another rapper named Lil Wayne, and Lil Wayne is from that place.
Yeah, that's why Skip Bayless wouldn't watch it.
Yeah, like I feel like Wayne deserved to get that one. He would have done good. I mean, the response is, well, he's a drug head, and there are times when he doesn't perform well, and I get all that, but you can't tell me that he wouldn't have, got himself squared away.
For this.
For his own hometown in the Super Bowl. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's his hometown.
Yeah, it was his hometown.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? And he and Drake are on the same record label. So there was a lot of like, oh, they just did this because of the beef or whatever. But the reality is Wayne is a very unreliable performer. I mean, he's...
Really?
Oh, yeah. Is
so he the one that has the tattoos on his face?
Yeah, he's fucked up on so many things when he's performing that it's very, very difficult.
Oh, yeah, he never looks well. Every time I see him, I'm like, yeah, that guy does not look well.
Yeah, so Dorian's point was like, please, like, why should we have you up there? You're probably going to forget all your lyrics. I just don't think he would have done that. Like, if he would have been, especially if Jay would have been like, look, man, you got an opportunity here, blah, 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 I think he would have done great. I really do. I really do. But, you know, obviously it was Kendrick's year. I'm not going to take nothing from Kendrick. I love the song. I really love the song. So, you know, like, it's all good. I don't know what the fuck is going on with this thing, man. Come in. Abra la puerta, por favor.
Probably,
MP3.
Coffee.
Jazakallah. This is definitely probably a thank you so much. This is probably a
what?
Damn it, man.
Yeah, Metlcat, we're gonna get it up. I just don't know what's going on with it. Vinny's gonna get it situated, but we can still keep chatting. Let's get weird with some chat pile. Why are they weird? Chat pile is coming up next.
Who's suggesting chat pile?
That's our next song on the list. That was just one of our commenters. Metal Vault said that. Even his records are pretty inconsistent. But isn't every band like that?
Who?
Like, every band has, like, inconsistent, like, mostly, like, when they're coming out with records? Or do they usually come out regularly? I don't follow anybody regularly.
Korn had a run for 10 years where every other year they were good for releasing another record.
But that's not average, though,
It's not average,
yeah,
no.
So him saying that they're pretty inconsistent, I don't know if that's a thing. He said Wayne is super hit and miss, but when he's on, man, he is ever on. Is that true? When he's on, it's real good?
I'd say so. That, yeah, when he's on, he's legit. Yeah, I mean, like, that's why I'm saying, like, I felt like he deserved that opportunity to operate. You know what I'm saying? Because he knows how to turn it on and when to turn it off. And I think that would have been a time where he'd have been, you know, the video, because Dorian showed me a video of him, and it was a bad video. Like, he was slurring his speech, all type of shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, there are definitely times when, you know, things get hectic like that.
Metalcat says, the halftime show isn't meant for the usual football audience. It's to draw in those who would not be watching already. That's true.
That's such a good point.
I'm sure that's exactly what it did. Smart.
That's such a good point.
I did, like, hear the anthem at the beginning. That one I thought was not going well.
Which one, the national anthem?
Yeah, when that girl was singing it, I was like,
yeah.
She must have been nervous.
Well, I saw Whitney Houston, and nobody's going to top that one. I mean, my God. It's legendary. It's absolutely legendary. And it was the first Super Bowl I actually sat and watched when I came to the country. Yeah, so there's just a lot of like, damn. I'm trying to download this video, guys. It might be because it's an official video from the band. Metalcat, do you want us to keep trying for the official video or a lyric video or go to the next song and do this band last? What do you want to do? The night is yours, sir.
Okay, so we've got Wayne's best recent verse, in my opinion, was on Tyler the Creator song as a feature on the album before this most recent one, a track called Hot Wind Blows. I haven't heard any of his... I couldn't even tell you what he sounds... I don't know what he sounds
Wayne?
like. Yeah, I don't know that I know any of his songs.
Remember First Take?
Yes, that's right.
That was him.
It was at the beginning. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I knew that because Skip had
and that's why
said he wasn't gonna...
Skip was
boycotting.
Not watching the Super Bowl in protest.
The whole Super Bowl?
No.
Just the halftime show, right? I'm like, wow, he's serious.
But they're genuinely friends, though.
Dwayne said Carrie Underwood topped Whitney's version.
Of course you'd say that. I disagree. I didn't even know. I didn't even know Carrie Underwood did a version of the national anthem.
Metalcat says there's only one other video of it, and it's a live video that looks like it was recorded on a cell phone, so probably not good quality.
Oh, let me try this one. Did he? You know what, Metalcat? Can you download it on your end and then send it to us in an email?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Can you do that, Metalcat?
This thing is saying I got 2% download going. Let's see what it does here.
Oh, I thought you said 2% battery. I was like, what? All right. Yep, we can still do the Ask Me Anything, you guys. We still have, and yes, Ben, that's exactly what happened. I was on the restream.
We're at 2.1% for the Ask Me Anything, so, or for the download.
Whitney Houston and Chris Stapleton, says John DJ.
What do you mean?
Doug Johnson says that. I guess, was there Chris Stapleton also did it on another year? I think he's voting for those two. Yeah. He said, I can try. I've never downloaded a YouTube video before. So it might not.
Don't worry about it.
It's a little difficult if you don't know what how to download it and then how to email it. I was amazed at how difficult some of the computer stuff has been when I first started learning, because I didn't know anything when I first started. Like,
you
literally
think it's your
nothing.
iPhone where everything is constructed toward, intuition. It's not like that. That's one of the things that makes Apple Apple. People say what they want. Say what you want, you losers.
There's been some friction against Wayne, too, because of his political views, specifically on BLM. In an interview a while back, Wayne said he never heard of it, basically. That can't be.
Yeah, he did it. Yeah, he did an interview where he basically said, I never had any problems with the police. That's what Wayne said. Now, keep in mind, Wayne was doing all this shit since he was 16 years old. He's like, he'd go to school and his videos would be on the TV. You know what I'm saying? So, obviously, his interaction with police is going to be different than everybody else. And they're like, oh, he's a sellout, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, I mean, that's the life he lived, though. Like, he never, you know what I mean? What's he supposed to do? Say fuck the police because you don't like him? Cop saved his life. He shot himself in the face one time, and a cop saved his life.
I guess it depends on how you're gonna do it. If you're gonna be out there for your people, I'm a little distracted by Anti-Mose the Beast. Says Vin, do you believe about?
So some people have the nerve to think that over there is the
One day we'll be back to the Garden of Eden. Good question.
Yes, probably, but I probably wouldn't characterize it as repeating itself. Okay, so we have the actual video. We figured it out. Thank you guys for your patience.
Job, Vin. Good
the Ask
job.
Me Anything is over. Now
Well
here we go.
done.
Let's check it out. Yeah, let's go back and do, what'd you say, 112? Yep. And then just announce it. Just re-announce the song so if people skip to one. You know what I'm saying?
Re-announce the song. The Mary Wallopers, Smuggling the Tin. Live field recording for Gems on VHS.
All right, guys, here we go. Check me out. Check me out. Go!
So some people have the nerve to think that over there is the UK, but it's not.
What is it?
It's Ireland still. They just call it the UK, like.
Interesting.
This is the castle, Roach Castle.
And Earl Martin Quinn, we made up together to smuggle it in with me right to the Ireland, right to the Ireland, right to the Ireland. We walked all the day, boys, till the hills they grew raw. We hadn't the comfort of a lying in straw with me right to the Ireland, right to the Ireland, right to the Ireland. While Yoker says, Collie, I'm wise to her tricks. The more that he yoked her, the more the mare kicked her with me right to the Ireland, right to the Ireland, right to the Ireland.
What does that mean?
I once had a fireball all covered in spots. Many's a fiver she won in the trots with me right to the Ireland, right to the Ireland, right to the Ireland. Up comes an old sergeant with a laugh and a grin. I'll put you in jail, boys, for smuggling the tin with me right to the Ireland, right to the Ireland, right to the Ireland. Up jumps the old sergeant with a laugh and a smile. I'll put you in jail, boys, for smuggling this while with me right to the Ireland, right to the Ireland, right to the Ireland. Well, up jumps young Collie for to make this excuse. If you let us all be, sir, at home we will scoot with me right to the Ireland, right to the nairn and right to the nay. We made our way home and we blessed our own faith. To hell with the border, we're in a free state with me right to the nairn, right to the nairn and right to the nay.
A lot of people looking at it.
How he is? The guy.
Oh!
That's a lot of people. Like 5 of them.
You would have been better off making noise rather than us, like.
Bit of heckling.
Do you want to come into our castle?
Do you want a cup of tea or anything?
A cup of tea. It's your castle. Jesus Christ, there's going to be a row here, yeah?
That sort of stuff's always happening.
It's their castle.
So they just went over there to shoot their video,
Yeah.
and then the owners came by?
Yeah, and then they're like,
That's
come
really
on down, come in for some tea.
That's
Billy's
cute.
like, that's my castle.
You can't invite me to my own castle.
He's like, oh, that means that he was full of shit. How are they going to have tea in that castle and it wasn't his castle?
Oh, he was just joking.
He didn't have the
Obviously,
keys.
there was nothing inside. I mean, the castle was broken down anyway.
I don't know what right to an Aaron means, other than saying maybe he's trying to say something else, and the accent was just too crazy, too heavy. Did ChatGPT solve the problem for you?
No, but I'm gonna put in the rest of the song because sometimes
Context.
Yeah, they're saying, what about the context? So that
It seems to me the Europeans have such a rich and diverse culture, particularly when you see them talk about either their homeland or their ancestors. It's just so, whether it's the Nordic guys or the Vikings, this kind of thing, it seems to just be a real staple of European culture to always keep that in memory and whatever. They're very intentional about it. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because our group is not as intentional about it as the Europeans are, which is really interesting. Americans are, we got our independence because we killed the British. We flouted, the conventional wisdom as to what was going to make a hit song or whatever. So, yeah, go ahead.
Well,
right.
I liked the song. First of all, I liked the vibe. So when I'm just sitting here,
the vibe,
just watching them playing these instruments that aren't connected to any electricity, and they're just out there in nature playing, and there was a sort of, it's a folk song, right? So it's got some of that
folky campfire feel.
Yeah, it has some of that in there, and then it had a sort of friendliness to it as well as a little bit of lonely. So I actually don't know I have zero clue.
Where'd you see the lonely?
Know how I felt when I watched it.
Oh, you felt lonely?
Yeah, there was a little bit of a lonely sound to it. It was also, but I don't know what we were singing about. I just know, I just wanted to watch the performance because it was, I liked the way that they were working together too. They seemed like they were both, the one kept looking over at the other one. I don't know, it was cute. I liked it.
It's pretty wholesome, yeah.
Yeah,
Best
exactly,
friends type
wholesome,
shit.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, look at that.
What happened?
Is this the one? Why do people have to live outside?
No,
that's the wrong one.
The song right after.
Okay, well, you can see how...
I'm looking at it right now. You sent me it. Just look under yours. I'm looking at it right now.
Right here. I got it. Okay, young Cooney and Collie and old Martin Quinn, well, they made up together to smuggling the tin. I don't know what the tin would be. So,
I just
according
think
to
it's tin.
ChatGPT... What?
Like tin.
Tin? Like real tin?
Yeah. Don't people steal copper and all that shit?
Why would you need to smuggle tin? I think you're probably smuggling a tin with something in it. But who knows? But ChatGPT
don't you
said...
do that with copper, though? Don't people go in there and strip copper?
But not tin. Like, think tin foil? That's aluminum foil. I don't know if tin is... I don't know, is tin aluminum? Yeah, a tin can. Nobody's smuggling aluminum? I don't know what's... It must be something inside the can, right? Do people smuggle aluminum?
I don't know.
That would just be so weird that we're like...
It sounded dumb to me to smuggle copper, but...
Well, yeah, it's worth something, but cans aren't worth anything. Okay, so according to ChatGPT, the with, right, Torian, that little part is a common thing. This is they don't know, you know. They're saying it's a common thing in like folk songs in like this area for them to create a little nonsensical verse that rhymes well and is fun to sing. So the words don't necessarily mean anything, but when they sing it, it kind of like flows.
But did he make it? What was it rhyming with though?
Just the way, you know, when they were singing it had like that sort of like folky sort of. They were just
I see.
that.
I see.
It says we walked all the day, boys, till the heels they grew raw, while they hadn't the comfort of lying in straw. Okay, that's true. So this is what's happening to them when they're smuggling the tin. I'll yoke her, says Coley. I'm wise to her tricks.
Yeah, because Coley started first, right? It was Cooney and Coley. So we get introduced to Cooney and Coley.
Okay, so they're trying to get a horse. So the more that he yoked her, the more the mare kicked. And once I had piebald, I don't know what that means, all covered in spots, and it's many the fervor she won in the trots. Up comes an out sergeant with a laugh and a grin. I'll put you in jail, boys, for smuggling of tin. Up jumps the out sergeant with a laugh and a smile. Tin. I'll put you in jail, boys, for smuggling this while.
Say, wait. So you laughed at me like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, I'm still laughing.
They're smuggling tin. I was right though. They were smuggling tin.
Well, up jumps young Collie for to make this excuse. You have to let us be, sir. It's home we will scoot. And we made our way home, and we blessed our... It's so hard because they keep changing. Like, the words are not written like our words. And we blessed our
I'm
faith.
enjoying you struggle.
To hell with the border. We're in the free state. Okay. So smuggling the tin was getting over the border?
I think they were stealing the tin from the UK and then crossing the border into their country to distribute to the people. That's why he said, this is UK, but it's really ours. This is UK, but it's really ours at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Because they had that beef. They were killing each other.
Okay. Yeah, so it was cute. It says musical outro. This is a song about the border between Ireland and Northern Ireland after Irish independence. There was still fighting and bombings until the 90s. That's crazy, man. Why?
I'm pretty sure that zombie song,
yeah, that one
was about the trouble. It's called The Troubles, right? That's what it's called, The Troubles between those two. And you kind of saw it because he said, like, this is not the UK, this is Ireland, you know,
yeah.
So it's like the whole independence thing.
Yeah. It's just like when you see like, so yeah, it had like this sort of happy feel to it, but then at the same time, like, man, that's sad. Like we can't. The concept, like when you look at the whole world not divided by peoples or nations, and you just look at us all as a people group, and then you just say the conflicts and the way that we hate and the way that we will tear each other apart and the way that people act when they're under pressure or the way that people act when they are not getting enough food or whatever. So like it's, you know, human beings, I don't know, like when I'm listening to this song and they're talking about like the, you know, kind of crossing stuff over the border and stuff, and it's crazy to me that we are at this time period and we still are doing this. We're still starving out other people. Like, I can't believe it. Like, and you see it like anywhere from as small up to great. Like, my kids, they didn't have, our small kids didn't have any like whatever, like PlayStation or anything like that to play with. Well, one of the big kids got rid of theirs because the graphics weren't very good anymore. Something fried inside the machine. So now they get to play this game. They share a controller, so they each take turns. You would think that they would be over the moon happy, which they are. But they inevitably end up fighting over who's going to be on the controller.
They never stay that way.
Right. And it's like, I didn't give you this fun thing so you guys could be after each other. I want to see you guys loving each other. I didn't give this to you guys so you could argue and fight over it. And then it's like, so here you have like a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old, and then you expand this out to the world, and it's the same thing. Mm-hmm. Like, we're fighting over resources when there's no reason to. It doesn't, like, we could share with each other. And I think that if we could figure out a way to do it, there's probably a lot of people that I would hope that would say, I could dwindle the amount of stuff that I have so we could actually make this happen. But yeah, so the song, but I liked the song. I like the folky kind of sound to it. I'm not saying it would be something that I would necessarily put on a playlist. Might be something that I would jump back and listen to here and again, because it had just an interesting, odd sort of sound to it. And odd because I'm not accustomed to their music. But I did like seeing like every time, culture. There was like a little bit of different culture.
Every time we cover that period, I'm always like, I gotta find a documentary. Like when Ukraine and Russia were going at it, we did like that 8-hour mega stream. Because we're breaking it down like thing by thing, because obviously it's a more proximate situation. But like, yeah, I'm probably at some point going to get into the Irish and the Troubles and the resistance and all that, because especially now, like looking back, everybody could see like, oh, the Mossad is running the Twitter account, so they're, you know what I'm saying? You know how that go. Yeah. What did you say you gave it?
I think I'm going right up to a 9.7.
Yeah, it's a 9.3 for me. I thought it was, well, one of the biggest reasons it's getting a 9.7 is because the entire time I've been talking, since hearing this song, I've been seeing us around some fire in the background, listening to just having this song and songs like it on repeat, you know.
Oh yeah, a true fireside.
Yeah, yeah.
We're all around a fire in Vin's mind. That's cute.
Stop, drop, and roll. Yeah. Look at this. It's really wild because it was a Christian group. Yeah, it was Christian group versus Christian group over Christianity. Right. I'm pretty sure it was Catholics and Protestants. I think the Protestants were on the Irish side and the Catholics are, I'm not sure.
Really? That's what was going on?
Terrorist attack, explosions, dead civvies, all that shit. All of it.
When this is all over and we see what our rage and our lack of empathy and our selfishness and our desire for bloodshed, when we see what all of that really amounted to, when everything, like, you know, we talk about the physical world, when all that strips away and all you're left with is the eternal message of what was going on, man, that's gonna...
Brutal.
Yeah, it's sad.
There we go. The Catholics were the Republic of Ireland, and then the Protestants were the Northern Ireland. This video was the Northern Ireland video, right? Because that's why the guy said, we're not in the UK, or whatever it is. Good intel, though, Metlcat. What did you say you gave it?
I went the 9.7.
9.3 for me.
All right,
and
guys,
then
we got
I
one
think
more.
Metlcat gave it like an 8 or 9. We got another song, though, coming right up.
Oh, really? You gave it lower than... You know
We're not
what?
even-
I feel like that happens a lot with yours. Like, I rate them a lot higher than you do. And you
Actually, I
picked
don't...
them.
Yeah, I don't know if he actually rated them. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah. Tell me what your rating
He
is,
will
Metlcat.
respond shortly.
Yeah, that's true.
Christians love being Christians, but many don't follow like following Christ. Hell yeah, bro.
Yes, that is 100% true. Also,
Hell yeah.
It's also true that Christians are not perfect people. Like, I used to think that once you were a Christian, you had to live like perfectly and you had to show everything perfection because you were trying to show people what Jesus is like, which is true. Like, we are showing the world, we are showing people what, you know, elements of God we can represent. But at the same time,
there are just certain issues where, I'm sorry, our LGBT and our atheist friends are more Christ-like
yeah,
than a specific strain of American Christianity, which we are PhD level expert in because we were literally born in it. You merely adopted the Christianity. So like,
born in it.
Yeah. So like, yeah, there are certain issues where the church is great, and I'm very proud, and we're at the vanguard, we're at the forefront, and we're willing to suffer for the messages, especially in the Western world. But a lot of the empathy politics or compassion politics is almost completely devoid in Christian politics, in the Christian world. Whereas the empathy and all that, it seems to be the primary consideration with our left-wing friends, which I think is the reason why they have no power right now. To be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I think. Why is that so surprising to you?
That's what's... Well, because to me, nobody's working much on empathy. It just seems like it's a money grab, and it's a, like... You know, and everybody down at the bottom is just grabbing for the scraps of what's left. It just seems like, you know, like which party is actually going for the benefit of human beings. That's the thing. I feel like we have our priorities mixed up. And I do think that part of that is because people have held on to the idea that matter precedes consciousness. I think that has had such a horrible effect on our world, because if matter precedes consciousness, then matter is possibly more important than consciousness. But if consciousness precedes matter, then the consciousness and what that consciousness is saying is primary. Yeah. And I just feel like that people will murder a person for a steak. They will kill somebody for something. And like that's the big message that like I'm trying to drill into my kids. Like, do not fight over that toy. It is a toy. It is plastic. That's your brother. And then I say, like, that's your brother. Like, but God says that he was born. You're going to go through difficult times. Brothers are born for adversity. Like, you're supposed to help each other. Like, I'm focusing more on that than, you know, I used to focus so much on making sure people follow the cleaning rules because I hate a messy apartment. But now I'm like, these are not the most important things. Like, it should be cleaned up. We're going to talk about those things. But the most important things is we got to understand what it is to love each other and understand that nothing should come before a human being. There's no thing in this universe that should come before a human being and their well-being. That's just unbelievable. But, you know, we want our stuff.
So he was smuggling tin.
So you were right.
Across the border.
I apologize. You were right.
You're trying to make some bootleg.
Well, I'm picturing tin cans. Why are we smuggling tin cans? I still feel weird about it.
Bullets. You see what I'm saying?
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Like you get a rock and you put maybe that thing under it might work like a chin. There's a lot of innovative shit you have to do when you're out there.
Who knows?
They call it being out in the bush or whatever you call it. Mm-hmm. What'd you give it?
I thought, what did I give it? 9.8, I think.
I'm gonna give this one a solid 9.3. We're gonna go right into the next song.
What did Metlcat give it? Metlcat, can you tell me again what you gave it?
Where's your rating? Metlcat said that all of his songs tonight were 10s.
Oh, look, if there was a comment, well, we should post this. Thank you, Metlcat. If there's a common theme for most of the songs I picked for my streams, sorry, just summed it up.
There you go. There you go. That'll never happen.
Thank you, Metlcat.
Luke 5:32 says necromasochist. All right, we'll check out Luke 5:32 after we get done the review.
9.5. Yep.
All right, guys, here we go. Last song of the night, Chat Pile. I feel like we've done a Chat Pile song before. Nick,
let's see what he has to say.
I was asking Nick.
Metlcat. Let's see. All right, he says, ooh, and last one for my next stream. This is a band that I only recently discovered, and I am loving them. They're a fun mix of noise rock, sludge metal, post-punk, grunge, and new metal. He says, this is Chat Pile. The name of the song is Why. This song is the first one in his video and goes until the 4:10 mark. You caught that?
Yep, makes sense.
Or slightly longer if you want to hear some crowd interaction. So.
Makes sense.
Here it is. Chat Pile. Why? Why? Now you understand. Okay.
What do you mean?
I put Y on the thumbnail.
All right, timestamp. Let's do 1:34, 30. 1:34:40 actually. Quickly. All right, guys. Here is Chat. All right, guys, here is Chat Pile.
Let's do it.
Outbreak. Let's do. What does it say? No.
Why? The name of the song is Why, and this is a live version for you lovers of the live.
At the Outbreak Festival.
At the Outbreak Festival 2024. So this is recent.
Yeah, it's like yesterday. We was hanging. This again, Peter. Talk to the people.
Again.
I've got to figure it out.
It's happened again. All right, we're back to an Ask Me Anything. So I'm going to the stream.
We got one more video left.
There comes DJ Franco, or Director Franco.
He's got a question?
No, he's just here.
Just email me, bitch.
He's here.
Oh, he's there. Yeah.
What's up?
What's up, fool?
Let's see.
What's up, fool?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I say all the time, all my atheist friends are way more like Christ than many of my Christians I know. Yeah, that's crazy.
On some topics.
Yeah.
Jesus was a lover of babies. So, your team's not very good on that. But there's a lot of shit where your team is very, very good, like miles ahead, to the point where it's genuinely confusing. Not like confusing to my faith, but confusing to the, how the hell?
Yes, Dwayne.
How the hell are we so blind to this shit?
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially like the whole gay thing. Like how are we missing this stuff? But, you know. That's what happens when you put the Bible and the Constitution. It's like equivalent doctrines. But we continue.
Oh, wait a minute. He says I'm a Christian. Are you on Patreon? I think you are. I'm pretty sure you told me that you're this person. What this person said I'm pretty sure we know that person, but by a different name.
Okay. Don't dox him like you did that other guy that time.
Pretty sure that was you.
Nah, it was you. Was it me?
It was you.
We're talking about Dougism?
It was you.
Well, Doug is here, so he could settle the score.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doug, remember the code, baby.
Wow.
Stick to the code.
Wow. Okay.
That's what Vaughn said. Just stick to the code.
Okay, Dwayne, I'm still waiting for your questions, but once again, you've lied to me.
What do you do?
Well, he said I have a question, and then he won't answer. He won't ask a question. So that's it. Bye. I'm here, there, and once again, what's up, Nelson? Let's see. We've got a lot of people on YouTube, and wow, all these are YouTube.
Nobody has a question?
No, nobody has a question.
My God.
Robbie. Oh yes. Okay.
Robbie had a question.
No, I know who you are now. Of the bands played so far tonight, which would you like to hear more from the most?
Oh, Paradise Lost
the first
for me.
one. Yeah.
Paradise Lost. Yeah.
Yep.
Not even a question for me.
Yeah. Paradise Lost, but then also I'd do another folky song too. I like those.
Yeah, I think so. But Paradise Lost is definitely the band I want to see more of from the crew. And I also want to know, like, why this specific band or this specific song hit you the way it did. Like, obviously I don't want to add too much work when you guys are doing something, but I do think it's like a different insight into like, oh, okay, this is what this dude is. See what I'm saying?
There's
your
you
video.
Want that Red Bull?
Yeah, sure. Tell them to bring it in. Por favor. Por favor. Por favor. My God. Download MP4. Talk to the people.
While I'm getting your Red Bull. Now I'm back. Is it potatoes or potatoes? Potatoes. I say potatoes. Potatoes.
I got it.
I usually hold back on commentary because I don't want to influence you guys, but I can start giving more of that. Well, Metlcat, you know what you could do? We could read the commentary after.
What do you mean?
Well, if he's like, I don't want to influence you guys, then we could read it. We could do our review, and then we could read his comments that answer some of those questions. Okay, do you prefer potatoes or rice? And
chat pile.
Oh, look at that. Here comes a Red Bull for you.
Yeah.
Do you... Okay, I want to know... Let's see. Oh, there was... Oh, yeah, I'm going to save mine. Thanks.
Yeah. What y'all doing out there?
Did you put the weight screen?
Mom wants to play Fortnite with all of us.
Who does?
Orion.
All right. Love you. I'll be out there.
Me too.
All right. Do we have it? No, that's the wrong one.
Negative vibes. I don't remember what the guy sounded like, but that was a crazy movie, Pet Sematary.
Oh, no.
I watched that one. Well, you guys know how it was. We had a really strict, you couldn't watch anything basically policy. And my sister ended up getting into like some of these movies.
Was it that was the David Tan copy, right? For chat pile?
Oh, I don't know. But yeah, I'm clicking on it here. Dave Tan, yeah.
Okay.
David Tan, yeah. Okay. Anyway, so she started bringing home some of these for us to watch secretly.
Who did?
Secretly, my sister. So my parents wouldn't know.
Really?
Yeah. And we watched Pet Sematary, and I will tell you,
I'm so surprised, A, that your sister did that, and B, that you participated. That's crazy to me.
well, we did watch the Shining. We started watching The Shining, and I told her to turn that one off because they used the Lord's name in vain too much. And then when that naked lady was in the tub, I was horrified. I just couldn't believe, like,
What's The Shining about?
I had never seen any. It's a husband that gets a job at a hotel.
Oh, the one, Here's Johnny, that one? You know, he's like, here's Johnny.
I guess. Yeah. I didn't watch the whole thing. Like I said, that lady in the tub freaked me right out. I was like, what is going on? Because he was married, and then he went in there into the hotel room, and there was like this woman that was naked in the shower, and he started making out with her. And then I was like, I couldn't believe, because I had never seen nudity before, so I was like, what is happening? And so then she like turned she turned into an old decrepit woman, like as he was kissing her. I don't know what the point.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I don't know what the point of all of it was because I didn't end up watching the whole thing. But Pet Sematary, I watched that one start to finish. I see cats differently after that, and I no joke, that shoe part at the beginning, like when the tractor trailer truck comes by and the shoe, that part was just heart-wrenching, and definitely more heart-wrenching like as I got kids. That was crazy. And I understand like the craziness of the parents to bury the kid there. Like it made sense to me.
What's the start time?
Start time was at the beginning. It ends at 4:10.
Oh, okay. So beginning to 4:10. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
and that part where he got his Achilles.
Timestamp 1:43:15.
What? 1:43:50. What?
1:43:15.
1:43. All right, let's go. Okay, chat pile. Why?
All right, here we go.
DJ Metlcat. Let's go.
And it's live. Let's do it. I need to update that player from the downloader.
Oh, okay, good.
Hello.
Hello.
Manchester.
Manchester. It's always Manchester.
Outbreak.
We've been there so many times.
My goodness.
Well, it depends. If this is Manchester in Europe, it's one thing. But if it's Manchester on the East Coast, that's there was like a couple summers where it was just
a lot of Manchester.
Back to Manchester.
This is perhaps the biggest show we have ever played. Thank you for having us. A true honor.
They're barefoot. He has no shoes.
yeah. Manchester. You know, when I was a young man, I'd say 17, 18, a little movie came out that was like oxygen to me in my small town in Oklahoma. A little movie called 24-Hour Party People.
Never.
Woo! What a film.
Agree.
Me and Captain Ron are huge New Order fans.
It was wonderful.
Wow, what a song, man. That was really surprising because it started out so heavy and I was like, okay. And then, like, the topic, I am always surprised when people take the time to say, he didn't even say, like, a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I've thought of that myself. Like, when I, years ago, in my past relationship, we bought a house. And there was a lot of houses that were foreclosed. And so if you can find a foreclosed house, this was, because I got married in 2008. So it was like right in that whole housing crisis mess.
Yeah.
And there were houses that were like nice places, whatever. But the bank, they got foreclosed on and the bank had them. And the bank would not sell it for less. Like, you would have like water damage or whatever. And so you were going to have to repair those things. So if you tried to, let's say they're going to charge like, they always charged way more than the place was worth, basically. And if you tried to talk them down, they wouldn't budge. And the woman that we were working with that was helping us, the real estate agent, she was like, the banks do this all the time. She said they would rather let it rot than let somebody live in it. And I said, this is crazy. So we're just having a bunch of abandoned houses because the bank refuses to sell it for less. And so, you know, like, I used to think that if you took somebody and you put them in a house, like, and they were not ready for it, they would destroy it and bring drugs into it and ruin their lives and ruin the house. And I do think that is true for some people. I do think that there are some people that are not prepared for that without getting some help first. But I do think that there's a lot of people that, given the opportunity to be able to do something, like to be able to buy a house for their family, would actually work hard for it. You know, it's just, was just talking to this lady today, and they were saying that you couldn't, she's like, yeah, this other lady can't work more than X amount of hours because she has Social Security. And so if you get Social Security, you can only work X amount of hours. I think that's stupid.
Even though she paid into it her entire life.
She paid into it. And what exactly is the motivation behind that? So you're telling people, don't try any harder. Don't get anywhere out of your you have to stay only with what we're giving you. And if you try to get more than that, we're going to take away, so you're going to still be at that same place. How does that help our country? How does it help our country to tell these people, no, you shouldn't work?
Yeah, and Metlcat says they learned their lesson from 2008. Now they own the houses and just rent them out, basically. Just rent them out at higher prices than foreclosures. So they'll buy, so they're like, all right, we'll just buy the houses, and then you're going to have to live somewhere, and now you're going to have to deal with our rent. Yeah, I mean, the corruption is crazy, man. Like, I'm not even talking about governmental corruption. You always hear people talk about governmental corruption. And it's never like, it's never personal corruption. It's government corruption, especially like if you're looking at Trump, it's Trump, then the government, and then the MAGA people, and then there's poor little old innocent you stuck in the malaise of all these horrible people when we're not very far off from them, as you can see right now what we're doing in Gaza. There's not much. I mean, all the Democrats, the left, whatever you want to call them, they all supported the group of people that was sending billions to kill these people. So there's really not a good guy in this situation. There's nobody that's like really advocating and fighting stuff.
Yeah, it's sad too because, like, I used to think before sitting down and talking to like a homeless person, I thought that they were just like a regular person, just homeless. But I didn't realize that after you spend so much time being homeless, it changes you as a person, and their mind is different sometimes, and like it's just sad because it's like almost looks like that their individuality and humanity is stripped from them, and they're like the personality isn't really there, and sometimes a lot of paranoia, and it just you know, one time I saw somebody stop and talk to a homeless person, and at that point in my life, like, you know, that I couldn't believe it, because like the person, you know, they were sweaty and it didn't smell good, and like, you know, I just saw this other person just stop and get down on that person's level and just see them. And it was so interesting, like watching that moment take place and seeing that homeless person being seen, and like they were having like a moment together, and I was like, wow, I wonder, it's true, like that probably doesn't happen. And then you think about how little they must get like touched in a loving way, because like everybody just walks by them and then they're homeless and they're, you know, like that was the thing that I noticed, because I was thinking, man, you should just go up and touch somebody. But when this person did, they put their arm around the homeless person, whatever, like you could see the whole thing was really meaningful. And I think that is one of the things that I learned through COVID, was that separation of all of us. Like, it just didn't feel good. And like when somebody would sneeze and everybody would like look at them like, are you?
I know. It was so,
should we?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a hard.
I forgot about that.
It was a hard time, you know, for people. I didn't forget about it because it changed me as a person. Because I like, people's sneezes and stuff do bother me. I do think that you should sneeze like into your sleeve.
You've always been like that.
I've always been like that. It's like
all the healthcare people. My mom was like that too. My mom's a big like,
yeah. Well,
dirty, nasty.
Yeah. So, you know, when you have those mindsets, it does make it a little bit more difficult. But once I saw, that was another thing where I'm like, that idea of not putting other things in front of human beings. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what it became for me. I was like, okay, so I'm avoiding a cold, so I won't touch this person. And another really weird thing is when Vinny and I were playing basketball, this guy stepped on the back of my ankle when I was going to jump, or something like that happened. That's what I thought happened, but you had a different story maybe. Regardless, the lazy man got it so my Achilles was ruptured. And
complete.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it was complete, but it did become complete. After the lady finished it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's also true.
But yeah, so that's an interesting story. Anyway, so that scarring on the back of my foot, like anytime the kids, like if they like rub my feet or they give me a little whatever, they always want to avoid and not touch any of that scarring. It grosses them right out. And so like that, like,
oh, from your surgery?
Yes, yeah. And so it was like that part of my being never got any nobody ever, like, nothing. And so somebody rubbed it one time, and I was like, it was just like such a weird thing, because it was like, oh, I felt everybody's aversion to it, and I felt that. So I'm like, okay, that was this much of my body. Like, what is it like to be a homeless person, where everybody walking by is like, they don't know if, you know, is this homeless person dangerous? Is this person, you know, are they diseased? Are they smelly? Are they crazy? Are they what? Like, sometimes fear just keeps us back. I don't know. When I hear this song, like, shout out to these people that made this song. Shout out to them for caring about something like that. When I see other human beings caring about things other than sex, drugs, and rock and roll, I'm like, way to go.
Yeah.
Way to go. Like,
no, I agree.
We get so dragged down into stupidity and destruction and darkness. And there's people living on the streets, and we just walk right by them. Like, it's in our city too. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, and I've been homeless. My mom and my brothers, and we always had a shelter because she's a woman, you know, like the abused women shelter thing. If it were to happen to me now, it would be very, very difficult, because, and I understand why. Like, as a dude, you know, like a lot of times women, you know, a bad relationship is a very, very high indicator for poverty, and so that's where all the abused women's clinics kind of came about. And they don't want to reinvent the wheel, because you're not in a very healthy state of mind at that point. And so it's very easy for people to get attached to each other. It's just like at the hospital, you know, like, I'm crazy. I'm so crazy. I got hospitalized, and like, you're crazy too. And we're the only ones that can understand each other. It was that kind of energy. Mm-hmm. And so like a lot of these people don't understand, like the homeless shelters, like a lot of them are trying to prevent that. Actually, that's why a lot of times they won't integrate. It's not because they think the guy's going to necessarily do something, although that does happen. But it's also just the toxicity of,
oh my gosh,
you're bringing these two groups together. They're both in a very vulnerable time in their life, and everybody at the shelter helps everybody out. Like, I've seen people take away sugar from their kids to give to somebody.
Really?
Like, yeah, like people are really, you know, so in that kind of environment, it creates a lot of situations where, you know, people start loving each other, don't really love each other, but they're just circumstantially in a bad situation, and it always went bad. So that was one of the main reasons why they genderfied those things. Because of course now looking back, I'm like, of course. Because it is kind of like a us against the world thing. Like, you're the bottom of the barrel in society, you know, whatever. I remember we had a canned food drive, and like, if you're class 1 and you got to win a movie, and so it was like the canned food drive for the less fortunate, and I couldn't even show up with a can.
Yeah.
And so they're like, "What the fuck, Finn? We're about to lose." Blah blah blah. It's like they're running the thing for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, you're already kind of like the bottom of the barrel. And then you're around other people, and they can understand what you're going through. Of course, you know what I'm saying. You're gonna.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I don't know if this is what you were saying, but if you put the men and the women together, and you have single women that are in a bad situation and single guys are in a bad situation, then they might end up together, and they're still in a bad situation. Now it's worse because they're both people that had, you know, ended up in that situation, that had that providence.
And you could almost depend on it. If a dude ends up in a homeless shelter, it's because he has mental health issues. It's almost 99.9. With the women, it was almost exclusively
relationship.
Husband beat the hell out of her. Husband beat the hell out of the kids. Had to leave in the middle of the night. You know, in-laws aren't. You know.
Yeah.
That type of thing. But with the women, a lot of it was I mean, with the men, a lot, it was just mental health issues, like, across the board. So, yeah, I really I didn't enjoy the song, but I'm very glad he said it. And I'm very glad he said it in a way that could be, you know, legible, like we could understand what he's saying, instead of just going raw.
I agree.
I think Kendrick's a good example. I think there are times to be accessible and be poppy or whatever, like. And here's the irony: the more important your message is, then the more accessible you want to make the music, so that to you, your, you know, what you're trying to push forward, your agenda takes center stage. So you want that to happen. So, this is a really, really good song, and he said it. He was pretty clean.
The way that he did those vocals when he was saying it, I just felt like it was perfect for the topic, and I don't even know if he doesn't feel anything when he sings it, but it looks like he does. It looks like he was, you know, feeling the message that was being said. And then when they talked about, like, there's buildings that are empty and people on the streets,
heated.
It's just, and heated?
Yeah.
I didn't even hear him say that. That it's just so crazy.
Yeah, it's hard to think about. I remember, like, when we were in Maine and looking at these Facebook groups. And, like, every winter, somebody died on a bench overnight.
I know.
And, like, the comments were crazy. I'm like, that's the answer to the question. That's the reason we have homeless people in the dead of winter, and we have locked, empty, heated buildings. It's that attitude that when those people die, it's like, good, I don't have to look at them anymore. I've heard so many crazy things. Like, it's tough.
I think that is a crazy statement to make, but one of the things also that I've been doing is looking at other reasons why things could get said. So if somebody says that, it sounds so horrible, right? Like, obviously, like, what do you mean you don't want to see that person? Good riddance to the homeless person. But I think that what's happening is that even if we look the other way, we still see it. There are some people that probably don't see homeless people, but there are a lot of us that see them, and we don't want to make eye contact, or we don't want to go too close because we don't even know what to do with that situation. Like, all of us have problems in our own lives that we're trying to situate, and you're like, yeah, but that person, that's worse. This is, like, really far down the line. How am I supposed to help this person? Right. So I think that whenever you drive past, like, I don't feel good when I pass by a homeless person without doing something. Even if it's, now I do something different because I don't always give money. I don't always have money to give. But now, I smile and I say hi. And I think that that's something important because, you know, when we talked before about how the zeitgeist is changing and people are, you know, using the word retarded. Sorry, it makes me a little emotional. when people use the word retarded for other people. And so, like, I knew a couple of families that were in that situation where they had a sibling or a child that had MR. And so they said that people wouldn't look at them or they would get laughed at. But the majority of the world looks away from people in those situations because everybody's uncomfortable. You don't see that always. And when you do, you don't really know what to do with it. So we just pretend it's not there. But what happens is now you just ostracize that family into a world where nobody sees them. And so I'm like, okay, that's got to be what's happening with our homeless friends too. They must be sitting there and nobody wants to look because they feel like, I'm not giving enough compassion. I'm going to whatever reason it is. But I think that them being happy that the homeless person is gone is actually them saying, I was under too much conviction by that. And it could be. It could be just that they hate the homeless, they want them gone. But it could also be because seeing them makes them uncomfortable.
And it could also be the way that the homeless person's mental health issues manifest is in choosing to be homeless.
That's 100% true.
And that was a phenomenon that I
was shocked about that as well.
I didn't understand, you know, because I was always projecting my upbringing.
Well, yeah, you think about how you would feel if you were in that situation.
But it's different because my mom had kids and such. These people, a lot of them were very, very young. They didn't have any kids. Like Jules and his crew. None of them had kids.
Right, yeah.
You know, and it's like, I'm like, okay. But it's interesting to me because it's like, people walk by them when they're panhandling and say, go get a job. It's like, the panhandling, especially in the dead of winter, takes way more effort than being at McDonald's. You know, and so there was one girl that we knew, and she was like very, very capable. She got herself that McDonald's job. It was very cool. And 2 weeks later, she's back out in the street because like it's just not her vibe. So it's like, okay, there's some people like this is a lifestyle choice for them. Like that's what they want to do.
I understand.
And it's weird. It's weird to me, but
I like it better when, like, to me, if you're gonna look at panhandling as your job, then you have to do something with it. So, like, that was one thing that I noticed was different about the North and the South. When we got down to the South, there are homeless people or, you know, people that are panhandling.
Sure.
But they're holding up a bag of oranges or they've got a cooler that has ice waters and whatever. So they're going to sell you a bottle of a soda or whatever.
Yeah.
So they're making money off every interaction, but there's an exchange happening. So it is a sort of business. For just somebody standing on the side of the road and saying, you guys should be giving me money because I'm not working, that is not, I don't think that that's good. Unless somebody's in I understand that bad situations can happen, but that should not be a lifestyle of just try to beg money off of people.
I think a lot of that is not, I mean, based on the character of the homeless person here, but more so a reflection of Ron DeSantis's policies. Because technically it's illegal to do that in Florida, but it almost never gets enforced because look how many homeless people there are.
Yeah.
But it's Ron DeSantis, and so what happens is they'll steal a bag of oranges and put up the oranges so that they could say that they're, you know, or everybody will share the bag of oranges when they go out to, you know, so that they can have something so they could slide under that radar. And like, there is like, I wish somebody would dedicate some serious time, money, energy, and focus to that. And maybe people have and they're not getting the credit for it. It's just a very strange thing where, like, the country is the richest country the world has ever seen. We bounce back from COVID so quickly. Financially, on the financial side, we bounce back from COVID.
Comparatively to everybody else.
And we still can't figure this element out. It's kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's like you say, you don't want to. We don't want to. If we wanted to, we would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. We just don't have the drive. This is a 9.5 for me. That one was tough. I ain't gonna lie, you know, because you know, shout out to all my homeless shelter people, Mitzi and Yon and all that. It was funny because we had just come from Florida to New Jersey. Mm-hmm. We ended up in a homeless shelter, and immediately there was this girl named Mitzi. She was like my brother's age. She was Latina. I think that was the first Latina my brother had ever really seen. You know what I'm saying? And she had a little brother named Jean, and they would call him Jean. And I'd be like, man, y'all ain't fresh, man. When you shut the fuck out, like y'all trying to do some, you know. I'm like, your name is John, nigga. My mom took me outside, call the boy by name. I was like,
oh, you really did that?
Oh, yeah. What do you mean? This is me we're talking about here. That was the first time Jamie read a book start to finish. There's Alan Mendelsohn, The Boy from Mars. That's my little brother. Rest in peace to him. That was just a good memory because I remember being like, you can't read, shut up. And like, he's like, yes, I can, you idiot. And he'd never stood up to me before. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, cool. So here we go. I went to chapter 8. I'm like, tell me about chapter 8. And he said, well, read the first card. He was able to tell me. I'm like, son of a bitch, he actually did it. So shout out to you for doing that, little bro.
Good on him.
improving yourself.
Fighting back with Vincent.
Yeah, capitalism needs an underclass to scare people into compliance. Correct. And that's the function of those things. So what did you give it?
This is an emotional one. It's an emotional answer for me. It's a 10 for me. I really respect what he was doing with this to even bring attention to that in that scene and everything, and to take the time to. And I don't know if he was done on purpose, but he was barefoot and he took his shirt off. So it wasn't like.
Yeah, I caught that part too.
Yeah, he kind of was kind of like slumping around with the way he was walking and everything. So it kind of like made you think about homeless people more too.
Yeah,
like,
he was really owning the regular Joe.
Yeah.
The regular Joe aesthetic for sure. Mm-hmm. Which I hate for rock stars, by the way. I can't stand it. It's like I came to the show for novelty and craziness. I didn't come to the show for you to be in your jean shorts and no shoes. What the hell? I can see that anytime I want.
Well, yeah, and it doesn't really fit the metal thing, but maybe he was doing that for. I mean, I like bare feet. Bare feet to me is like that's a whole vibe right there.
That's the whole thing. All right, so it was
10. It's a 10 for me.
10. All right, so it's a 9.7 for me. It's a really, really good song. Much love to all you beautiful people. Mm-hmm. I think there is a Alliance stream coming tomorrow. It looks like, is there?
I don't know.
Because Ben just said we got an Alliance stream tomorrow.
Okay.
And there'll be a Dio Black Sabbath song. Pretty excited for that. All right, guys. Much love to all you beautiful people.
Yeah,
the
list is up on Patreon, you guys. You can see all of the stuff. It's public for people, so you can go in there and see anytime what's going on with our shows. But tomorrow is we're in the 12th now because we're past midnight. No, we're not past midnight. Okay, so the 12th is him. Yep, the 13th. Yep, that's the Alliance stream. It's starting at 10 p.m.
Stream. 10 p.m.
10 p.m.
There you go, guys. Gang, gang, gang. Thank you all for a good hangout. Yes, that was wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Much love to all you beautiful people. Love your neighbor. Take care of each other. Buy the Starbucks coffee for the guy behind you or some shit. God, do something, damn it. All right, guys, we out.
Say hi to
out.
people. Sorry, out.
Go. You have a foot fetish, you said. Why does he say you have a foot fetish?